Welcome. My name is Kinetic Symphony. I'm a narrator focusing on glitch in the Matrix stories. Let's get into it. Story title: My aunt was saved by a glitch in 2017. Author name: Pixie0321. There's a couple weird things to this story, and one is kind of a tech thing, so I hope there's a possible explanation. I was 16 at the time, and remember it well. My aunt and now ex-husband had been out with a friend one night, and were finishing up around 1 AM when their friend offered them a ride home. My aunt hadn't drank, but her husband and friend had. Everyone gets in the car, and my aunt, who was notorious for never wearing seatbelts, starts to feel odd and buckles up. Her husband, already buckled, teases her about it since it's out of character, and their friend doesn't wear his to prove a point. As they're exiting the highway, the friend driving jerks and overcorrects, and they immediately roll off a fairly steep incline. They roll for what my aunt described felt like 5 minutes. Then suddenly she wakes up and everyone else in the car is passed out. She gets out and, according to her, wasn't able to get anyone else out. Within a couple minutes, emergency responders and my mom arrived to see my aunt and her husband outside the car while their friend remained inside. Now, my aunt never called my mom, and there was no log on either phone that my aunt had called my mom. But my mom swears that she got a phone call and heard the car rolling over, and my aunt yelling, "He's dead, he's dead!" And then said something about the area the car accident happened. My mom got on the highway and drove in that direction until finding the accident, within 10 minutes of it happening. I remember my dad had heard the phone call too, and I remember waking up to my parents frantically trying to piece together who was going to go, and where to go, and sort through everything. We waited at home for my mom to return, eventually with the news that my aunt's friend had passed, but that her and her husband had survived with minor trauma. Later, my aunt talked about the intuitive feeling she'd had beforehand about the seatbelt, but she had questions about her phone, which is my question too. She remembers screaming, "He's dead," and that she was referring to her husband at the time. She said he had died there, and that she wasn't able to get anyone out, but that out of nowhere she was out of breath and kneeling over her unconscious husband right before the paramedics arrived. She lost her phone in the crash and was never able to find it. Edit. People have pointed out that I mentioned there was no call log on my aunt's phone, and that she lost her phone in the crash. I obviously misremembered that, but I do remember that the phone was lost. I also remember being told my mom used her own phone to try to call my aunt at the time, at the scene of the crash. And we were shocked when my mom came home and told us that she and my aunt had realized there was no incoming call from my aunt earlier that night. Personal thoughts. So this is a positive, well, mostly. I mean, it's very sad that the friend died, but at least her husband survived and she did too. And with minor wounds too, that's extraordinary. But these kinds of glitches, they give me a sense of, maybe hope is the right word. And it's clear when one reads enough glitch stories that, to some extent, we all share a connection that isn't yet understood. The most peculiar aspect to this glitch is that your aunt had a sense that she'd need to buckle up. But not in a vision sense. She'd had gotten out of the car entirely if it was a vision, knowing exactly what would happen. No, this seemed like just a sort of feeling she had. As you say, foreboding intuition. It's really a remarkable ability, and an extraordinary event. Regarding the phone though, I don't know, even if your aunt lost the phone, the call log can be still checked by the service provider. So maybe that's what your grandma did, or your parents, I don't know. And that concludes our story for the day. If you liked it, well, you know what to do. Show the video some love, hit the like button, and subscribe on up if you still haven't. I upload Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 PM EST. I'll see you all there.